Now this is a standard dub to extended dub conversion. Here's the extended dubs. They come in black and fun metal. And we're going to start by taking off the exterior. Start with the fender deletes, your bumpers, and then work your way around to your foot pad, disconnecting your sensor foot pad cable. Now we're really working to get this motor out to set this thing flush on the table to get it easier to work with. Now if you take the rail on the motor cable side off first, it should be easier for you to get that motor out and get that second rail off. Now we're opening the battery box to disconnect the battery, just to prevent any potential shorts while you're poking around in there. Now I previously had waterproof this, so I'm just cutting through that to get through my battery box. If your board's stock, you shouldn't have to do this. When unplugging your balance lead, lift straight up and out. You might have to wedge your fingernail in there or a pry tool just to loosen up that connector. Working our way around to the controller side, we're just taking this lid off and we're pulling the wire harness a bit more out of the controller casing. If you had standard dubs before this, you would have already been familiar with this process. Moving on to the comms extent, you want to fit it on the curve right in between where the wires come in and where your power button is. I get a better camera angle of this later. Moving on to the XT60 extender, and just meet the ends between your wire harness and your controller. Before you plug in the battery, make sure it all lines up, like red to red, black to black, etc. Now this comes with a XT60 retainer clip, so you can just snap that on there. Now we're going to be flipping the controller case lid over, and we're going to take a look at that. We're going to be making a cut about right here is where I can mark it for you, and all the way through that. So cut that entire lip off, because that's going to be crimping your cables. And smooth it down really good. You don't want it rubbing your cables. And we're also going to make a little notch right here. All the way through, same process. This is where your comms extension will fit into. Make sure everything sits flush. Keep that water gasket seated. But we're going to be taking back this pint comm center extender. And my silicone didn't hold whenever I first put this together. So we're going to be putting a glob of hot glue on. And using hot glue might be frowned upon with this DIY project. So it is worth it looking into other fasteners. Only reason I'm doing this is because I have a vest coming in late November. And this is all just temporary, just for the sake of showing you guys in video how to do it. So really press firmly on this, make sure that it's not going anywhere before you screw this lid back on. If it comes off, it could really rattle around in your controller casing, and that'll cause problems later on. I'm gonna put back together everything, starting by putting on the controller casing and putting the battery back in, hooking everything back up. Here you should just be putting your board back together with the new parts that they had sent with the kit. The only thing that should be different is the axle blocks that do come with the kit. They come with new axle bolts, so you wouldn't be using your old ones, and they are much shorter. And they're caked and Loctite, so if you tighten them down good, they shouldn't go nowhere. And I have had my board since the haptic buzz update in 2020, so I have messed with some of the factory settings to make my board fit dubs. Although it does work, it does feel really weird riding switch. And that's really the reason why I've been looking in the VESC. People say that reshaped rails and VESC go really well together. And as of the time editing this, I've been scrolling through Reddit, and Reno Propulsion Labs is supposed to be coming out with a video of its own. So that might be a little bit more informative. Comparing it to other boards, I only own Pint X's/S's. So that's really the purpose of this video. Is this worth upgrading from stock to extending your rails and potentially having W's? And though I've never ridden an XR, this is definitely no poor man's XR. This is not budget friendly. You already have to have a prior, let's just say $1,200 board, and you also have to fork over $500 for this kit. And I'm doing this so I can eventually fit an MTE hub in here, which then gets even more expensive. I'm also going to be doing another tutorial in the future as well. As soon as my VESC does get here, I will be showing y'all how to put it in, since I had found out that Tony's video had gotten taken down, at least in the US. And though I do believe right to repair to be solely independent, I do also believe that the consumer/person repairing the board should have proper reference material when repairing their stuff. But back to the kit, I think Float Life did an amazing job with these axle blocks. Not only are they more durable, they increase your motor cable length, as well as acting as a heat sink for your motor. And Tanner wanted to film his dog, so shout out Mocha. She's been really supportive through all this. And here's the thing I wanted to highlight. And I believe this kit adds a freckle of girth to your board. And how I noticed this is I didn't have to squish in my Cushionite high foot pads in as much as I did with stock rails. And my delete pieces that I cut from my stock fender delete didn't quite fit in the grooves of each side of the rails. Though it was just something that it seemed like, and I'm not quite for sure.